What up, what up, what up? Your boy is back, and welcome to the Angelo Carlos podcast. How is everyone doing? I hope y'all doing well. In today's podcast, we are talking about the 3 magical tools of retirement. Y'all probably wondering, what are those 3 magic rules, Angelo? Well, I got you. 401k, Roth IRA, HSA. For me, these have been super clutch, instrumental in helping me plan for retirement. I know I do this content creator thing, but I do actually also work full time, so it pays the bills. It gets my credit score good, and honestly, I like going to work. I like hanging out with my coworkers and building things. So we make content, we go to work, and we get to invest the money we make. So a lot of you guys who are probably watching this are actually, working a 9 to 5, looking to get into the corporate America life, or just trying to just figure out how to retire. And the biggest 3 things I kind of realized in my journey of financial freedom was that no, you don't need to make $1 million a year to become a multimillionaire, to become rich. You can do it through investing. Most of your wealth actually will be generated through investing, especially if you're working a job, right? I'm a firm believer, similar to the money guy, similar to Dave Ramsey, that your income from work is your largest wealth builder. Unless you become an entrepreneur, right? Then that'll be your biggest kind of wealth creation through your business and your company. But for most people working a 9 to 5, like, they still need to hear this advice. And this is something I wish I knew because I taught a lot of it myself. I went to business school at UCLA Anderson. To those of you guys know I am, UCLA Anderson, UCLA MBA. But a lot of stuff I did learn on my own. I kind of learned some financial backing, some knowledge about business, finance, all that good stuff while at UCLA. But I also learned a lot of this on my own just through watching a lot of videos. A lot of it has been from like Dave Ramsey, from the Money Guys, from YouTube. So a lot of my friends I've actually met at YouTube who do finance too, they taught me a lot too. So I know for me, I figured I'd give back because I went to business school and I still didn't know this stuff. So I can only imagine like a lot of people who may have not gone to business school who may not have that business mindset. Maybe we don't know how to do this whole retirement thing. So I wanted to teach y'all everything I know about it. And today's video, we're going to top 3 things about retirement. So I have these 3 things that I have been doing, and I want to share it with you guys so that you guys can actually invest it, right? So let's go into the 401k, the Roth IRA, and the health spending account, or which is called the HSA. So let's go in first, the 401k. So let me just type in 401k, and I have my handy dandy 401k here, or not my 401k, I'm sorry, my handy dandy ChatGPT over here. The cool thing about AI and ChatGPT is that when it comes to like these videos, I like to talk, but I also want to have the right information to back it up. So we got ChatGPT over here. This will be our point of reference, and I use my knowledge of what I did when I learned to talk about it. But then we can also verify things with ChatGPT, so it's the most up to date and knowledgeable. So I'm gonna ask ChatGPT, what is a 401k and the max contributions for 2025 and 2026. So the reason I want to do 2025 and 2026 is because I want to just kind of towards the end of the year right now, not you're watching this video, but I want to understand how much money can you actually contribute to it, what's the benefits of this 401k, and what can we contribute each year. So 401k is an employer-sponsored retirement savings plan under U.S. tax law. With a 401k, you can defer a portion of your paycheck into the plan, either pre-tax or after-tax, which is Roth. We won't talk about Roths, but we're going to talk about normal 401ks today. And those contributions are invested until retirement. Employers often match these contributions, though not required, and the plan grows tax-free for pre-tax contributions or tax-free for qualified Roth contributions. So most people right now, very few companies, some companies, they have a Roth 401k. But for us, we're going to go into just a normal 401k because most people just have a normal 401k plan. So the cool thing about this is that it is tax advantage, meaning that your money comes into that 401k tax free. So you're not getting taxed on that. So let's just take a sample salary of $100,000 a year. If you choose to put $100 a month, which is about $1,200 a year, you won't be taxed on, say, that $1,200 a year. So that means that your money goes to that 401k account, it will grow tax free. And instead of you getting taxed at $100,000, you're going to get taxed at $98,800. So effectively, you lower your tax bracket, which is pretty cool. And it's pretty tax advantage and helpful, especially at the end of the year when you're filing taxes. Like, you keep that that 1,200 you invested in, and then you basically tax at a lower amount because of your contributions to your 401k. So 401ks, they lower something that's called your gross income. So your adjusted gross income. Basically, by contributing to a 401k, you lower that number down, you get taxed less, and that money goes in tax free into your 401k account. And the way most employers do it is that they put that money into a 401k account and they add it to a target fund. A target fund is essentially an investment fund that tries to match your expected retirement year. So say you want to retire in 30 years and today is 2025. That target fund will be most likely for 2055. And that's essentially when basically that fund matures and you hit that peak growth, all that good stuff. They put it into a target fund. So look into that 401k. 401ks are cool because most companies, they offer an employer sponsored match where, say you put in like $10,000, they'll match 5% of that. So like $500. And it just kind of keeps adding up. Or sometimes they use that match to be like 5% of your gross salary. So 5% of that of your gross salary is like, say you're getting $100,000, it'd be $5,000. There is a max to it, but that's one of the best things I like to invest in. Is like, I love to invest in the 401k because one, they give you free money from your employer. Two, your money grows tax free. And three, it lowers your adjusted gross income. And some companies, if you're pretty lucky, they also offer matching when it comes to, I believe, the profit sharing of it. So essentially, a company makes money. They say, hey, we made a lot of money this year. We want to offer you 5% again. So you get another 5% of that 100,000, you get another $5,000. So all in all, it's about $10,000 if you get it from the employee sponsored match, as well as through the income sharing through the company. And that's pretty clutch, if you ask me. That's about $10,000 you get every month or every year from that, especially if you're contributing to that. So that's the first thing I always recommend is your employer sponsored 401k. For me, I like to max it out every year. And if you guys are curious, if you are single, meaning that you don't have any family, I think the elected deferral limit is $23,500. If you are if you're contributing to that as well, there is a catch-up plan, meaning that if you're 60 to 63, you get 11,250 extra, so you can contribute about 34,750 in 2026. Same thing for 2025. So 23,500 is the max, and then if you are over 60 to 63, you get another 7,500, and then 2026 is not here yet, but they're expecting it to be 24,500 for your projected abilities to invest in that 401k. Let's see, does this change if you're married or have a family? So this is one thing I always recommend everyone do, is that have your whatever AI you like, ChatGPT, Gemini, whatever it may be, on deck with another like just search engine. So that way you're able to basically kind of ask yourself questions, right? A lot of times when we're making these videos, I would go on Google, try to research it, but now that we have AI, kind of quick up-to-date answers, browser searches the web pretty quickly, and I enjoy that. So no, okay, that's actually pretty good. Now that we know that your 401k does not change based on whether or not you have a family, kids, so you still have that max limit for your 401k. So make sure you do that, 23,500. If you're over 60 to 63, you do have a catch-up, which is another 7,500, which is pretty good too. So shout out to 401k. That's one of my favorite things to invest in. I always recommend the first thing you do is 401k because it lowers your adjusted gross income, as well as you do get a employer sponsored match and even profit sharing if you're pretty lucky with your company. So 401k is my first investment that I recommend. Next two I recommend are the Roth IRA, as well as the health savings account. So I want to go into health savings account first because this health savings account is is pretty cool. And the reason why is, like, For me, my strategy, and it can change, has always been to lower your adjusted gross income, right? So I have a lot of videos on HSAs. They've all been through shorts or like kind of short form videos, but this one will probably be my longer videos and about the health savings account. So let's just go into ChatGPT again and ask it, what is an HSA, and what are its contributions? Always love to cross confirm. So, getting a little error on ChatGPT, but let me paste it again. See what's going on. All right, we're actually switching to Gemini now. Actually, a good little pivot. But HSAs are basically tax-free accounts that you set aside if you have a high deductible healthcare plan. So most employers, if you have a high deductible healthcare plan, that just means that you basically have a higher deductible before the insurance kicks in. So usually it's about $1,000 for a high deductible healthcare plan, where you have to pay $1,000 before your insurance kicks in, and they start paying for all this coverages and bills and all that good stuff. So high deductible healthcare plans are usually around most companies. If you have a high deductible healthcare plan, they offer a health savings account because they want you to be able to hit that minimum of $1,000. Usually that $1,000 of the high deductible healthcare plan can be basically covered with your health savings account, because that's tax-free money going in. And you may be wondering, why do I need a healthcare savings account, right? An HSA. This is because this account is one of the most, I guess, crazy tax advantage accounts you can have. The reason being is that it does grow tax free, right? So you have it's what they call triple tax advantage in the industry, right? Meaning that you have tax deductible pre-tax contributions, it grows tax free, as well as you have tax free withdrawal. So that is their triple tax advantage account that they're talking about. And the HSA is cool because you can do $4,300 a year if you have a self coverage, or $8,500 a year if you have a family. And the reason that's really good is that because as you get older, you may not realize that maybe you're young, maybe you're trying to figure life out still. You're gonna get old. We all get old, and we all need to basically have to pay for healthcare. Hopefully you don't go to the hospital. Hopefully you age gracefully, take care of yourself. You're just blessed. But as you get older, you do have higher healthcare costs, right? And insurance is really expensive when you get older. And especially if you're not working anymore, where your employer is covering your insurance your whole life, as you kind of buy your own insurance, as you get on that Medicare, it does get a little bit costly. So you don't really understand. You may not know what bills you may have, right? So one of the things you need to invest in is a health savings account. And the cool thing is, it's that you can put in money on this tax free. The more you can basically get yourself to invest tax free, the better, because essentially that's just going to tax. You don't see it. You don't get to touch it. But if you have these accounts, the HSA account, the 401k account, you basically get to put money into an investment account, have it grow, instead of just going to tax. Because when it goes to tax, it's not your money no more. It's gone. So I always love investing in a health savings account. So the good thing about a health savings account is that you can basically buy anything tax-free. It grows tax-free. Contributions go in tax-free. That pre-tax contribution lowers your adjusted gross income, which is awesome because you always want to lower that adjusted gross income. And the little hack about this is that you can basically go on Amazon, there's an HSA store, Target, whatever you're at, put in money into that, use that money from the HSA and buy whatever you want that's healthcare related, right? I've seen some cool HSA stuff on Amazon, right? I've seen headphones, I've seen like allergy medicine, like, pretty bad allergies, but look into that. And there's actually a lot of great stuff in the HSA store, right? And you're probably like, all right, cool, Angela, I don't really care. I'm pretty healthy. I don't want to get sick. HSAs are good. But one of the crazy hacks are for retirement. So I'm just going to, how does it work for retirement is what I'm going to type into Gemini. And you're going to start seeing that it is pretty cool what it does for retirement. So how does it work for retirement? Let's see. So the HSA is often called a super IRA. What is a super IRA? Meaning that here's how it works for your retirement. One, during your working years, HSA functions as a savings account tool, right? Meaning that it grows tax-free, you put in tax-free money, and leverage your just gross income. But at the age of 65 is when it gets pretty crazy. This is where your HSA becomes highly flexible in the sense where it can grow you tax-free. It covers your healthcare costs, but you can start using it for non-traditional, non-medical expenses. What does that mean? So your penalty is waived. Usually when you withdraw funds from an HSA before 65 and it's not related to healthcare expenses, you get a 20% penalty at the age of 65. So if the money is used for non-medical expenses, it can be taxed as ordinary income like a 401k or IRA, which is pretty cool. So all that money you had invested in till age 65, it had grown tax-free. It was pre-tax contributions, meaning that it didn't get taxed. And it grew, and at age 65, you can just withdraw it as normal income. So say you had invested that $4,400 a year, from like for 30 years and it's over $1 million now. Let's just see how much that's worth. You can basically withdraw that money as ordinary income every year. So you can say withdraw 100K from that every year, then 900,000 keep growing. Essentially, it basically allows you to withdraw it tax-free. It's another free retirement account, which I really like. So let's just actually come do that again. So I'm going to actually put this in the Money Guys calculator chat. Money Guys, love your content, and it's helping me actually talk. So we're going to contribute $4,400 a year, and we're going to start with $4,400 annually over 30 years. Let's just say you work 30 years. It's a good round number. So let me show you guys this. $4,400 a year, 11.8% interest rate, because that's what the market typically grows at. If you invest this into an S&P 500 index fund, 30 years. And then let's see how much it will grow. You guys will be super surprised about how much it will grow, because you'll be like, what the heck? Maybe I should invest into this into this HSA. All right, so because HSAs, man, they're so low key. No one really knows about it, and they don't understand that once you have the HSA, you actually need to put it into an investment. And I'll talk about that, right? So if we had invested $4,400 at 11.8% interest rate, at the 30 years, say that's your working career, you would have $1.31 million with about 136,000 of that coming from contributions, right? And the cool thing about an HSA, right? I think we mentioned earlier that it was about 4,400, I believe, right? Yeah, 4,300, right? If you're single. So let's do 4,300 divided by 12 for 12 months. So that's only $358 a month you can invest in pre-tax income. And then if you do that basically for 30 years, you'll have 1.3 million. Imagine having retirement because you just invested about $300 a month. You have 1.3 million in retirement at 65. And that's just an HSA, which you can use for health savings account, health related expenses, right? That is pretty crazy if you ask me. So that's the other account you guys need to look in, health savings account. Man, we're going a lot. And I know I mentioned about investing in HSA. I'll get into this in more in another video. But what you want to do is once your employer offers you a health savings account, you want to make sure the money is invested. Just because the money goes into health savings account, you still need to buy something, right? And what I recommend is always buying S&P 500, some ETFs, so something like BOO or Vanguard's, which is Vanguard's S&P 500, BT Sachs, which is State Street's S&P 500 fund ETF. So buy those things. The reason being is that it's extremely safe, right? For this type of money, I always like going say, especially for investing in general, if you just want to keep it safe, knowing that you'll grow at 11.8% a year, you're beating inflation, 11.8% with BT Sachs, VO, Vanguard, whatever it may be, is a great deal. So look into that. BT Sachs, buy your investments with your HSA, especially when you're contributing to it, right? Most people don't do it. They think just because it goes in the account means it's invested. I know a lot of people who've done that. So make sure you basically buy those investments as you invest into the HSA. Okay, so that's another thing, guys. I appreciate you guys watching that. Learning about HSA. We're gonna go one more, and then we will kind of wrap it up. Next account is the Roth IRA or IRA. So for this one, we're going to talk about why it's important to invest in a Roth IRA. Let's go ask Gemini again. What is a Roth IRA and its max contribution? Okay. So Roth IRA is a retirement savings account funded after tax money, meaning you pay taxes on contributions now in exchange for tax benefits later. So the cool thing about this is that under age 50, you can have $7,000 in the account. If you are 50 and older, $8,000 because it includes a catch-up. If you're single, it is head of household. There is a adjusted gross income for this. It's $150,000. If you're married, filing jointly, $236,000. And you need to make these under these amounts in order to basically contribute to these accounts. Now, don't get me wrong, right? When you are making over these accounts, you can still contribute to it. At Google, they were very heavy on having people invest in a Roth IRA via a backdoor Roth IRA, which is basically you contribute to I think a traditional IRA, and then you transition it to a Roth IRA. So that is like a backdoor Roth contribution. And I'll go into that different video, but the principles of investing in the Roth IRA, the IRA, backdoor Roth IRA are pretty similar in a sense where the money you put in is post-tax, meaning that say you get paid, we're gonna go with a nice number, like just say $10,000 a month, right? After tax. And I know it's a lot, but I just want to just put that as a number, because it's just a big fancy number. So you put $10,000 a month, and once you put that into an IRA account, that money will grow tax-free, meaning that at retirement age, you can withdraw it tax-free. So I believe the retirement age for an IRA is 59 and a half. So say you put like money into that account at 59 and a half, you can withdraw all that money tax-free. No qualms about it. That's because the money goes in tax, right? Via tax, post-tax. So after your paycheck comes out, they remove all that Social Security benefits, all that stuff with regards to the Social Security, federal income tax, California state tax, wherever you may be. All that money comes in post-tax. When you go into your Roth IRA, you're going to basically purchase equities, investments, whatever it may be. And then once you withdraw 59.5, you don't have any tax on it, which is pretty awesome. So for me, let me just calculate that for you guys, right? So say you're going to do $7,000 a month. Let's just assume you're single, which is, I know it's a steep thing, and you don't have to max it out if you don't have the money, but just start investing to that account. And that's $7,000 a month divided by 12, $583, which is pretty solid. The crazy thing is that most people's car payments are more than that. So it's like, do you want a nice car? Do you want money tax-free retirement, right? Why not both? If you can do both and you're able to invest that, that's shout out to you. But $583 a month, right? And I'm gonna do that again, right? I want to calculate that for you guys. So let's do $7,000 a year at 11.8% interest rate. And the reason we do 11.8% all the time is because that's what the market grows right now. Especially if you invest in the S&P 500 index fund, $7,000 a month over 30 years. You guys ready? You guys ready to see how much tax-free money you'll have? So just remember, HSA, you'll have 1.3 million. And let's do it again. And then if you do a Roth IRA, 11.8% for 30 years, $2 million. Isn't that crazy? $2 million. And 1.8 million of that will just be from growth. And then 200,000 would have been through contributions. So shoot, at that point, these two investment accounts, if you don't even touch a 401k, you'll have $3 million at retirement. Isn't that crazy? So look into that Roth IRA, backdoor Roth IRA, whatever it may be. depending on your income limits, and those will be huge for retirement, okay? So even those two accounts right now, right? If we just do the Roth IRA as well as the HSA, so you're looking at like, if I add this up, yeah, it was like 1.3 for the Roth, for the HSA, and then 2 million, 2.084, right? So let's just add that up. Man, it's gonna be a lot of money, guys. 0.84 million plus 1.3 million. You'll almost have about 3.4 million. So let's just round up. So 3,384,000. So we're just gonna round up to 3.4 million because why not? And usually the market tends to grow pretty quickly, especially here in the US, which is pretty awesome. So the rule of thumb usually is you can withdraw 4 or 5% every year and never run out of money until you die. Especially if your nest egg is that big. So let's do 5%, 3.4 million times 0.05. You can withdraw $170,000 a year at retirement and you'll never run out of money. And these are just through like $7,000 a year through Roth IRA, another $4,000 from a HSA, and that's like $11,000 a year. And all those contributions, especially the HSA, was pre-tax contributions. So that's tax advantage. The Roth IRA, you withdraw that without tax. So that's pretty cool. $170,000 at retirement if you do that. And then that's not counting 401k. That will grow a lot too. But so say you just do those two accounts, HSA as well as a Roth IRA to retirement. $170,000 a year is a ton of money. And then imagine if you had a 401k. All these other stuff, like what if you had a pension, what if all this crazy stuff. But if you just have those two accounts, which is like, if you think about it, 7,000 divided by 12, yeah, it's not that much money. You're only probably investing about $1,000 a month, or maybe $900 a month, and you'll be set for retirement. And I know it's really tough right now. Bills are expensive, all this crazy stuff. But if you just set aside that money from the HSA or the Roth IRA, you'll be set for retirement. So just look into those accounts, man. That's the crazy thing about it. And I hope this video helped you guys, right? Like I said, I'll wrap it up. 401k, Roth IRA, health savings account. These three things will make you multi-millionaire. Say you max out all those guys till retirement, you could probably build generational wealth. That's including that 401k, right? And you can change the trajectory of your family, right? A couple $1 million, having that grow for your family every year at 11.8%, the fruits of your labor will definitely show for future generations, which is pretty freaking cool. So take a look into those accounts, guys. 401k, Roth IRA, health savings account. If this video, guys, helped y'all, please like, comment, and subscribe. I will continue to make finance videos. I love making finance videos. They're super fun for me, actually. And I keep helping everyone, right? I feel like this is kind of like my way of giving back to the world because I'm very fortunate and blessed. I got to go to business school, pay for that from my own dime. So shout out, shout out me, and then shout out work too for giving income to help do that, right? I wanted to change my family trajectory. So that's why I started going and doing this business stuff because it was kind of fun. And it's maybe I can do good for the world too. So I appreciate you guys. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace. What up, Jello family? Like, if you guys like this video, I'm thinking of creating a school community too, where I just teach people personal finance and all the lessons I've learned through investing, through basically my financial journey. Because a lot of this stuff, like, it was honestly learned through School of Hard Knocks, meaning that I messed up so many times. I didn't contribute as much as I should have. I decided to like buy crazy things instead of paying off my student loans, my debt, whatever it may be. And then I was like, you know what? Let me just flip this whole 180 on y'all and just pay off all the student loans, all this debt, and then start investing. That's one thing I didn't mention in the video, was that before you start investing in retirement, before you start buying all these crazy things, make sure you pay off all your debt. For me, it was a lot of student loan. As well as I had bought a car because I needed to buy a car to just get around, go to school. So make sure you pay off all that debt before going into investing for your retirement. The reason being is that there's a lot of risk associated with debt. And if you can allocate all your capital, which just means that if you can put all your money towards paying off student loans or debt, you will be in a much better spot when it comes to investing, when it comes to setting yourself for future in your retirement, right? For me, like, I invest into these accounts, but I want to make sure before investing into these accounts, I pay off my school loans, my debt, because it's like basically like you need to allocate all your capital to pay off someone. Like your student loans will never go away. So you need to pay that off first. Your loans, whatever it may be, whatever mortgage, your car, whatever it may be, pay those off first and then get into investing for retirement. You won't regret it. Just allocate most of your capital towards paying off debt and then go into that. That'll be the next video. But Jill fam, love y'all. See you next video. Peace.